Pope Francis has issued a grave warning. A hidden threat, he says, could shatter the Catholic Church. The Church, a beacon of faith for 2 millennia, faces a crossroads unlike any before. The challenges are many, their roots deep. But within these trials lies an opportunity for renewal. The weight of history rests heavily on the Church. It has weathered storms throughout the ages. Heresies, schisms, persecutions, none have extinguished its light. Yet the current crisis feels different. It is a slow, insidious erosion, a threat from within as much as from without. Can the Church once again find the strength to overcome? Pope Francis believes it can. To survive, the Church must change. The threat to the Church is not a singular enemy, but a confluence of factors that have been brewing for decades. Internal divisions like deep fissures in a once solid foundation threaten to break the Church apart. On one side, progressives urge for a more inclusive, compassionate Church. On the other, traditionalists cling to established doctrines and practices. This tension is palpable in the debate over Pope Francis's reforms. His emphasis on synodality, a more collaborative approach to church governance, has met with resistance. Adding fuel to the fire is the clerical abuse scandal, a deep wound that continues to bleed. The crisis has exposed a culture of secrecy and a reluctance to hold abusers accountable. The Catholic Church is no stranger to crisis. Throughout its long history, it has faced down heresies, weathered schisms, and endured persecution. Each challenge, though painful, ultimately served to refine and strengthen the Church. The early Church faced numerous threats, both internal and external. Gnostic heresies challenged the very nature of Christ and his teachings. Persecution by Roman authorities tested the faith of early Christians. Yet, the Church not only survived, but thrived. The Great Schism of 1054, which split the Church into Eastern and Western branches, was a defining moment. The Protestant Reformation of the 16th century was another seismic event. In the face of these daunting challenges, Pope Francis offers a vision for a renewed and revitalized Church. His approach is not just about addressing the immediate issues, but also about laying a foundation for a more inclusive and compassionate future. He envisions a Church that is not only a place of worship, but also a beacon of hope and a sanctuary for those in need. His papacy has been marked by a spirit of humility, compassion, and a deep concern for the poor and marginalized. From the very beginning, he has made it clear that the Church must be a voice for the voiceless and a defender of the downtrodden. His actions speak volumes, whether he is washing the feet of prisoners or visiting impoverished communities around the world. Central to Francis's vision is the concept of synodality. This is not just a buzzword, but a transformative approach to governance within the Church. Synodality calls for a more participatory and decentralized form of leadership, where decisions are made collectively rather than imposed from the top. This ancient practice emphasizes collaboration and dialogue within the Church. It encourages open discussions and values the input of all members, from the laity to the clergy. By fostering a culture of listening and mutual respect, synodality aims to make the Church more responsive to the needs of its people. It is a move away from a top-down hierarchical model to one where the voices of all the baptized are heard and valued. This shift is crucial for creating a more inclusive and dynamic Church, one that can adapt to the changing times and better serve its diverse congregation. Francis is also a tireless advocate for social justice. He believes that the Church cannot remain silent in the face of injustice and must take an active role in promoting human dignity and equality. His commitment to social justice is evident in his frequent calls for economic reform, his support for environmental sustainability, and his unwavering stance on human rights. His papacy has been marked by strong pronouncements on issues like economic inequality, climate change, and the plight of refugees and migrants. He has consistently urged world leaders to take decisive action to address these pressing issues, emphasizing that the well-being of the planet and its people are interconnected. Interfaith dialogue is another cornerstone of Francis's papacy. He understands that in a world fraught with division and conflict, building bridges between different faiths is more important than ever. By engaging in meaningful conversations with leaders of other religions, he seeks to foster mutual understanding and cooperation. He has reached out to leaders of other religions, seeking common ground and promoting understanding. These efforts are not just symbolic, they are practical steps towards creating a more peaceful and united world. Through interfaith dialogue, Francis aims to break down barriers and build a global community based on respect and shared values. Finally, Francis has taken steps to decentralize authority within the Church. By empowering local bishops and regional leaders, he hopes to create a more flexible and responsive church structure. This decentralization is intended to make the Church more attuned to the unique needs and challenges of different communities around the world, ensuring that it remains a relevant and vital force for good. Pope Francis's vision for the Church has been met with a mixture of hope, enthusiasm, and, in some quarters, outright opposition. His progressive stance on various social issues, including climate change, economic inequality, and the inclusion of marginalized communities, has sparked a wide range of reactions. While many see him as a beacon of change and a leader who is bringing the Church into the modern era, others are wary of the rapid transformations he advocates. The Catholic world, much like the world at large, is deeply divided. This division is not just a matter of differing opinions, but is rooted in fundamental disagreements about the direction in which the Church should be heading. These disagreements often reflect broader societal divides, mirroring the polarization seen in many countries today. Among progressive Catholics, Francis's papacy has been a breath of fresh air. They appreciate his willingness to address contemporary issues head-on and his efforts to make the Church more inclusive and compassionate. His focus on environmental stewardship, social justice, and outreach to the poor and disenfranchised has inspired a new generation of Catholics who are eager to see their faith reflected in action. His emphasis on social justice and his humble pastoral style have resonated deeply. Francis's approach to leadership, characterized by humility and a genuine concern for the marginalized, has endeared him to many. His actions, such as washing the feet of prisoners and advocating for refugees, have been powerful symbols of his commitment to living out the Gospel's call to love and serve others. However, Francis's reforms have also met with resistance, particularly from some conservative Catholics. These individuals often feel that the Pope's approach undermines traditional church teachings and practices. They worry that his emphasis on mercy and dialogue might lead to a dilution of core doctrines and a loss of the Church's distinct identity. They view his papacy with suspicion, concerned that his emphasis on dialogue and mercy represents a watering down of church teaching. For these conservatives, the Pope's willingness to engage with controversial issues and his openness to change are seen as threats to the stability and purity of the faith. This tension has led to heated debates and a sense of unease within the Church. This division within the Church is reflected in the wider Catholic world. The contrasting views on Pope Francis's leadership highlight the broader challenges facing the global Catholic community. As the Church grapples with these internal conflicts, it also faces external pressures from a rapidly changing world. In some countries, particularly in the developing world, Catholicism is thriving. Here, the Church's message of hope and solidarity resonates strongly, and communities are growing and vibrant. The energy and enthusiasm of these congregations stand in stark contrast to the struggles faced by the Church in other regions. In other parts of the world, particularly in Europe and North America, the Church is struggling to remain relevant. Declining attendance, secularization, and a loss of faith among younger generations pose significant challenges. The contrast between these regions underscores the complex and multifaceted nature of the Church's current situation, as it seeks to navigate a path forward in a divided world. In these turbulent times, the Church relies on the guidance and leadership of its shepherds. These leaders are tasked with navigating the faithful through the complexities of modern life, offering spiritual solace and moral direction. Their role is more crucial than ever, as they stand as beacons of hope and stability in a world often fraught with uncertainty and division. Among these leaders, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle stands out as a beacon of hope. His warm smile and approachable demeanor have endeared him to many, making him a beloved figure not just within the Church but also in the broader community. His ability to connect with people from all walks of life is a testament to his genuine compassion and understanding. Cardinal Tagle embodies many of the qualities that Pope Francis has emphasized during his papacy. He is a living example of the Church's mission to reach out to the peripheries, to those who are often overlooked or forgotten. His actions and words resonate deeply with the teachings of Pope Francis, who has consistently called for a Church that is inclusive, merciful, and attuned to the needs of the poor. He is known for his humility, his deep compassion for the poor and marginalized, and his commitment to interfaith dialogue. Cardinal Tagle's work in the slums and his efforts to build bridges between different faith communities highlight his dedication to social justice and peace. His presence in these challenging environments brings hope and comfort to those who are struggling. Cardinal Tagle's appointment to a senior position in the Vatican is seen by many as a sign of Pope Francis's commitment to appointing leaders who share his vision. This appointment is not just a recognition of Cardinal Tagle's past achievements, but also an affirmation of his potential to contribute to the future direction of the Church. It underscores the importance of having leaders who are not only spiritually grounded but also socially conscious. Leaders like Cardinal Tagle serve as a reminder that even in the midst of crisis, the Church is blessed with men and women of faith. Their unwavering commitment to their mission and their ability to inspire others are invaluable assets to the Church. They remind us that hope, compassion, and faith can prevail, even in the most challenging times. Through their actions, they illuminate the path forward, guiding the faithful with love and wisdom. The challenges facing the Catholic Church are unprecedented in their complexity and scope. The stakes are high. Failure to address these challenges effectively could have far-reaching consequences. The most immediate consequence of inaction is the risk of further division and fragmentation within the Church. Unresolved tensions between progressives and traditionalists could lead to a breakdown in dialogue. Beyond the risk of schism, the Church's moral authority is at stake. The clerical abuse scandal has severely damaged the Church's credibility. Perhaps the most significant consequence in the long term is the risk of alienating younger generations. The path forward for the Catholic Church will not be easy. It will require honesty, courage, and a willingness to embrace change. One crucial step is to foster a culture of open and honest dialogue within the Church. This means creating spaces where people feel safe to express their doubts and disagreements. Transparency and accountability, particularly in relation to the abuse crisis, are essential for rebuilding trust. The Church must also find new ways to engage with younger generations. Finally, the Church must rediscover its missionary spirit. The Catholic Church stands at a crossroads. The challenges it faces are real and pressing. But the Church has faced crises before, and it has emerged from those trials stronger and more vibrant. The future of the Church rests on embracing the spirit of renewal and reform. It rests on rediscovering the radical message of the gospel. It rests on the courage of its leaders to speak truth to power. It rests on the willingness of its members to engage in honest dialogue. The challenges are daunting, but hope remains. The path forward is clear. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more updates and intriguing content.